All right, guys, so we're going to talk about background today. I'm going to have to scrunch down for a minute. We're going to talk about our background today for our pages this week. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to actually use a brush, which I hardly ever do, because we're going to do some blending today. I just thought it'd be a neat technique to use this week. You certainly don't have to. You can use whatever technique that you choose. However, I am going to do some blending. So I'm going to pick a few colors. Just pick whatever colors you want, whatever you like. I'm going to do some reds, I think, and some oranges and some yellows. I'm feeling a little summery today. It's raining outside and I'm kind of gloomy. So I thought, well, I'm going to use some bright, fun, sunny colors today, and that will help me feel better. So I'm using an orange, and I'm going to use this red, and I'm going to use some yellow, which is kind of a goldy color. I'm almost out. I'm gonna have to give me some more. All right, so what I'm going to do, and once again, I usually try to start with the colors that are darker, so I'm just going to spread them on the page wherever I feel like they should go. I know this is a little hard to see. I'll hold it up when I'm done, but I'm just kind of spreading them out. Doesn't matter where, wherever you think you're going to want that. I don't know if it's better for me to have this light on. Is that better? Can y'all see that better? It kind of has a glare. I'm not sure, but anyway, okay. So now I'm going with the orange, and I'm just going to kind of blend that in some. And I'm just kind of running it into the red so that it blends with it. That's why I don't let it dry before I start adding colors, because I like them to blend and to kind of come together. So I'm going to blend them together. Dip into my yellow here, do that, and you see how I'm kind of getting that to blend with each color. One of the things that you'll notice is that sometimes you can mix certain colors and they'll come out a color that you weren't expecting because you weren't paying attention to the color wheel, so don't worry about that. We'll be fine. But as you can see, I'm just kind of mixing these colors and blending them so that they blend together. Oh, I have a string. This is what happens when you have long hair. You get string in your art. You get hair in your art. So I'm going to put those together, and I think, I really like this, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some green to it as well in a minute. Sorry, I didn't mean to bump that, because I like the way that these primary colors are coming together, and I think the green will bring it out a little bit more. It's a little bit of a darker green. I'm going to add some of that in a minute too, but I'm going to add a little bit of more red right now. I don't want too much green because it's going to be darker, so I'm just going to fill as much space as I feel like I need to, and then I'm going to go in and add the green. Notice how it's kind of just smeared together. I haven't really worried about, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? So I'm not really worrying about like there being fine, like distinct lines between the colors, because the truth is that it doesn't have to be that way. It can just blend together. So as you do this, you're just going to, you can turn your brush sideways like this and do it too if you want some thinner color spots to kind of cover up some of the white. And you can leave some of the white on the page. You don't have to color the whole page if you don't want to. I tend to do that. I don't know why. It's kind of just a habit of mine. And I don't know if it's because the first page I ever did, I did that with, and I just got kind of in a habit of it. But you just do whatever you feel works for you. And then I'm sure it will be beautiful. A little bit more yellow on this page. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add in some green now. I think the green will look really, really pool in a few spots. You don't want to get too much because it has a tendency to kind of turn brown when it mixes with red, so you have to kind of be careful with where you're mixing it. Another thing you can do too, if your paint is too thick, if your paint is too thick, you can add a little bit of water to your brush, and that'll thin it out some, and it'll blend even easier. I tend to add water to my pages quite a bit because I don't like them to be super thick because they get kind of sticky. So especially if the paint is a thick acrylic, like this yellow is old and it's really thick, so if I add water to it, it tends to smear just a little bit easier. Even just water by itself on top of the paint will help it to smear and thin out some, just like that. So I didn't even dip it in paint, I just dipped it in the water. Same thing with the green. Green on here, and as you can see, that's kind of turning a little bit brown from the red, but that's okay because when you blend colors, they're going to have different hues and tones to them, and that's fine. So if you see me dipping over here, it's because I'm going for my water and not paint. That way I'm able to kind of blend this a little better. I'm really liking these colors though. So as you can see, it's just kind of, I'm just kind of blending everything together and bringing out the colors as I do it. Kind of blending them together. So that brought a little bit of green on that side, which I really like. But like I said, you don't want to get too much because it will start turning brown. So I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to do it on the whole page, and then once I do that, we will come back and I'll show you the final product. So I just finished the blending of all of the colors. So this is what my final product ended up looking like. Let me turn this light off and see if that helps with you being able to see the colors a little better. It's kind of grainy when I do that. So, but what I did was basically I just took my brush and I just blended them together, and where I felt like it needed more yellow, I put more yellow, more green, I put more green, and I just kept blending it. If it started to get too dry or too thick, I added water to my brush, just a small amount with no paint on it, and just blended the semi-dry paints so that they could kind of blend into one another. It's a simple process of simply just running your brush, you know, relaxing with your hand and just running your brush up and down the page as you blend, so that, and I can even now after I've already finished it, I can still do that, and it blends some of my colors. So just take your time and pick the colors that you want to go together and just start swiping on your page and see what you come up with. And this will be your background for our video tomorrow that we're going to do with embellishments and images. So, see you tomorrow.